I'm going to review episode 47, and then I'm going to review the entire arc all in one video. So for those people who have the patience, you can stay. For those people who don't have the patience, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. So let's start with the villain and episode 47. I found everything Gecko did in this episode to be 100% predictable, and I say 100% because I did predict everything this guy actually did in this episode. I mean, if you think about it, Gecko is a one-dimensional villain. One-dimensional villains are not interesting, and it is solely due to the fact that this arc is just a few episodes, and with a few episodes you can only do so much. So I don't really blame them for Gecko being a one-dimensional villain, right? He's just a selfish person who likes to manipulate in order to get his things, and if you apply that personality and that information that you know about this character to every situation, you can basically predict 100% of what he does. All right, now let's talk about the manipulative side of him. So the second episode of this arc, right, he said that he was controlling Ryogi and Ryogi was his pawn. So that makes you know that he's very manipulative and controls people in order to do what he wants. So if he's manipulative, that actually tells you that he is going to manipulate his entire team. You know what I'm saying? That he's very selfish. And he does so. And the thing in this episode is that he actually ends up controlling Ryogi with the seal, and some people did not see that coming. Well, I did, because he is, number one, very manipulative, number two, very selfish and will force people to do whatever he wants, and number three, the previous episode, we've seen him use genjutsu in order to control people with that seal on their necks, right? And I saw that same seal on Ryogi's hand. So when I saw that, I thought, okay, maybe this is like a contingency plan for him, just in case Ryogi breaks down, because basically he has this mental thing going on where he can't really decide what he is trying to do, just like Kagura in the previous, one of the previous arcs, which was the worst arc that I've seen so far, right? So, I predicted, well, I did not really say it in a video, but I did predict that he was going to control Ryogi after Ryogi ends up snapping out of whatever funk that he's in, and then he's going to force Ryogi to fight regardless of whether he wants it or not. And also the whole backstory about Ryogi was very predictable, because how can a random ninja out of nowhere know the location of Ryogi's parents when they live in the middle of fucking nowhere in snow, right? And second of all, how did he come just on time to a situation which he has no knowledge even existed? He had no knowledge that Ryogi's father was being followed, so it was very predictable that there was something going on, and that person actually looked like there was something wrong with them in the first place. So all of that was very predictable. The only thing in episode 47 which I didn't find predictable was Naruto swooping in to end Gecko. And the thing is, Gecko is apparently a ninja who has been carrying out a lot of missions, but then he gets pinned to a door by a genin. They told these genins not to engage with the Byakuya, right? But then here is their leader being pinned to a door by a genin, right? One of the henchmen actually injured Metal Lee, and the fact that he was able to do that actually shows that his henchman might be stronger than him himself. So that makes him pathetic. Now, since Gecko is a one-dimensional villain, since we don't really know anything about him except from the fact that he is an asshole, we have Naruto who swoops in order to stop Gecko, right? And then they actually put Gecko and Ryogi in prison. Now, the thing is that it is very hypocritical for the Hidden Leaf Village to put anyone in prison, mainly due to the fact that they are harboring and protecting criminals, alright? Kabuto is basically the cause of most of the deaths in the entire war. Everything happened because this guy created the Endotense, the perfect version, and actually unleashed hell upon all these shinobi, which caused a lot of them to die. Yet his punishment for that is to actually be in an orphanage by his choosing and actually work there for the rest of his life. That is no punishment for a criminal who actually killed the majority of people in the war, alright? And then they have Orochimaru, who is still on his shit, roaming around with little supervision, because this guy is still doing the same shit that he did and got himself kicked out of the Leaf Village for. He is still taking over the bodies of people, which he blatantly stated in Naruto Gaiden, right? And then he is also creating synthetic humans, one in which actually attacked Sarada Uchiha, These are the types of evil people who are roaming around, are products of the Leaf Village, and they are free to go, right? But then when Gekko and Ryogi actually caused a little uprising which led up to nothing, they are in prison. Get the fuck out of here, Naruto and Kakashi. Let's talk about Shikadai. So at the beginning of this arc, Shikadai had this issue, which was to find someone who resonates with him, so he would always be alone until he found Ryogi, and then they played shogi until he discovered that Ryogi is actually part of the White Knight band, and then Ryogi had to flee. Now, Shikadai actually put an effort to bring back Ryogi by doing his duty as a ninja. Ryogi actually tempted Shikadai and said that he does not want to do his duties, which is basically Shikadai's personality. Now, in terms of development for this entire arc for Shikadai, if you really think about it, he is back to square one, because at the beginning, he had struggles to find someone who resonates with him, and at the end, he still has struggles to find someone who resonates with him, because that one person who he found, which solves his problem, is now in prison for thieving, whilst murderers get to walk away with little supervision, which doesn't make sense. Shikadai's development. Let me ask you just one question, and that question is, what do you think Shikadai has learned this entire arc? What do you think Boruto has learned this entire arc? What have you learned this entire arc? And to me, the answer is nothing, because if you look at it, right, if you look at the future, which is the events that happen in the manga and actually in the movie, these actually serve as checkpoints for these characters to reach. And if you look at these checkpoints, which are in the future, Shikadai is still the same person he was before this arc started. So with that being said, it kind of basically says that he hasn't developed as a person. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments what kind of development you think Shikadai has actually gotten in this arc. If I had to rate this arc, I would rate it a 5 out of 10. 5 for not being bad, but not being good either. But it was actually better than the worst arc, which is the Hidden Mist arc. That arc was really pointless. So now that I've reviewed the entire arc, let's talk about explaining what is actually going on. Okay, so obviously, right, we have the movie and the manga, and those, like I said previously, serve as a checkpoint for character development, ability, techniques, and mental development for every single character, as well as even the standing of the village. So if they wanted to improve something in this arc, they could have actually let the villagers go haywire, but the thing is, the checkpoint in the Chunin exam does not have a Konoha, which has been destroyed, so they have to meet those expectations. They have to meet that certain standard, that checkpoint that has been set there, in which the village is not destroyed or harmed in any form. And with that being said, that limits them to what they can do, so they can only write average stories and deliver them to us, hence why the anime has been pretty average so far. So that is the reason why the stories have been average so far, and from here it can only get better, because the next arc is the Chunin exam arc, in which we are going to see lots of content, and I'm actually going to be releasing a video talking about the deleted scenes in the movie, which might make it into the anime, as it will be stretched out longer and give us more depth to characters and all that kind of stuff. So from the Chunin exam arc is where the character development, the real canon character development, starts, as that hurdle is what needed to be jumped over in order for the series to start in the first place. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you care, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, because there's no point in subscribing when you don't even receive my videos, because YouTube is not really helping content creators when it comes to reminding them that their videos are up for subscribers to watch. With that being said, I have nothing more to say. Bye.